The Martini-Henry on Operation Iron Walls. My embargo is now up on all Battlefield 1 footage that EA let me capture when they flew me out to Dice LA a few weeks ago, so expect plenty of videos over the next few days. But now I want to talk about Operations because I think it's the best game mode that Battlefield 1 has on offer. This operation that you're watching, called Iron Walls, is focused around the two Italian Alps maps. You've got Monte Grappa, which is the mountainside hosting a gigantic fort in the end sector, and Empire's Edge, again hosting a large defensive embankment along the coastal regions. These maps are perfect for either long-range weapons or close-range weapons. Outside on Monte Grappa, snipers can take full advantage of the long lines of sight down the sides of the mountain, onto the lower ground below, and along the top of the elevated land. But the close-range weapons like shotguns and SMGs will absolutely dominate the network of underground tunnels that sit below the mountaintop capture points. It's your typical Battlefield map really, offering different locations for all different types of combat, and incorporating the massive skybox as well, so planes can battle it out above all the action below. Monte Grappa is probably my favourite map in the game. Well, actually, let's not go that far. It's one of my favourites. There is another one that I really, really like. The visuals are just stunning, and the big changes in elevation give something for everybody on this map, although it will be dominated by long-range sniping and even using some of the marksman medic weapons. So if you're not too into sniping, or you don't really want to play the medic with an optical sight on top of it, then it might be best that you stay in the tunnels or just play a different map completely. Now, Empire's Edge, the second map in this operation, is in the same grain as Monte Grappa, and it uses elevated terrain to build the map round this large hillside which falls off into the sea below. Now, this is one of the maps where the Dreadnought Behemoth can be really effective with its massive cannons and artillery fire. DICE have done a lot of work to make sure there is enough cover, like little settlements of buildings. Those are in place to help infantry just simply remain undetected. As I'm sure you can guess, the Dreadnought is extremely powerful, and having no cover on an open hillside would just be like cattle to the slaughter for the opposing team. And this was one of the maps actually in our first play sessions over at DICE Stockholm. When I got to play this game a long time ago, we gave feedback to the DICE devs and said there's not enough cover on this map when the Behemoth comes in. And to their credit, DICE changed the map so there's plenty more cover for infantry soldiers now. But what I really want to talk about, besides Operations, is the Martini-Henry, this weapon that I'm using right here. My god, is this weapon fun to use. It's a single-shot, breech-loading rifle, and it sits at the bottom of the list for the weapons on the Scout class. Battlefield 1 has some endgame weapons, you could say. There are 4 different weapons at the end of the grind when it comes to playing a particular class, and they only come in one variant, rather than the same as the other weapons where they have 2 or 3 variants that you can unlock. All of these weapons sit at class level 10, and I'd say that for the Scout, it's probably the most interesting of all the 4 that you can unlock. The rifle itself is of British origin, and it saw major use during the Zulu War by the British Empire, and by the time World War I started, the Martini-Henry was no longer in official service, and production had actually stopped back in 1889. But it was still used by many British soldiers throughout the First World War, and more recently, many of these rifles have actually been captured by various foreign military forces, like for example the United States Marine Corps actually captured 3 of these from various Taliban weapon caches. That's some legacy right there. Here in Battlefield 1, the single shot mechanism is really one that favours the accurate player, however. The Martini-Henry is truly a marksman weapon, although it lacks something rather fundamental to make it capable of consistent long-range accuracy, and that is a high-powered optical scope. This thing only comes with iron sights, and while you might think that is a little bit weird for a high-powered long-range weapon, it does make it much more satisfying when you do pull off those long-range kills. Like most other weapons in the Scout class, it does feature the same sweet spot mechanic where the bullet will do more damage at a particular range. And for this weapon, that is between 30 and 80 meters. It will do 100 damage there, and it will take soldiers out in just one hit. When you get a kill at that range, this thing is really satisfying. Along with the sound design for this weapon, it is just truly epic. I'm not sure if you can tell from the footage as well, the rifle doesn't seem to hit when the iron sights are on target sometimes either. That's because it's got a slower bullet speed overall. Such a powerful large round is going to be impacted by external factors, and so leading the target at range is definitely needed. But again, that lead, slow bullet velocity tied in with only having iron sights, makes for a truly satisfying experience when you do land a kill. Using this weapon is very similar to playing the rifleman role in the Scout class with some of the other rifles that you can pick from. I really like the M95 Gewehr rifleman loadout. It kind of felt similar to playing here with the Martini-Henry, but the Martini-Henry hits that much harder and is just a very different feel for the weapon, having to reload after every single shot. You either need to be 100% sure that you're going to hit the target, or you need to whip out a pistol really quickly to try and finish that player off. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that there are some sections of this map on Mont Grappa where you can go into a tunnel network underneath the hills, and that's what I'm showing you right here. And this is footage of the Hel Regal, an endgame weapon for the assault class, and it's basically a 60-round death machine. It's got amazing hipfire accuracy at close range as well, and that makes it perfect for you to be in those tunnels at close range with the enemy players. It doesn't have the range of the optical MP18, so don't expect it to beat everything, but in close quarters, with the amount of bullets that you can lay down, things are probably just going to end up in your favour most of the time. Now, me and Tim, Darkness429, are trying to push into the centre of the fort in the last sector of the map, but as you can see, it does get a little bit choke pointy. Now, depending on how you like to play Battlefield, this could be a good or a bad thing, but this is one of the key aspects of the Operations game mode that I think is very, very cool. It has this amazing ability to create these high-density pockets of combat all the way through the maps, and then seems to extend it out to long-range and medium-range combat in different sectors. As you move through the map, each sector seems to have its own flavour of combat. And, you know, when you're playing a game mode that could take 45 minutes for you to finish, you might want to switch up the game style every once in a while. And that's exactly what this map does here. You saw me playing with the Martini-Henry earlier, going for longer range kills. Now I've switched to the Hel Regal because I'm in tunnels and I want to get those close range kills off and have some close quarter battles. That is exactly what Operations is built to do. It's this longer experience, but it tries to incorporate all different aspects of the Battlefield game down into one game mode. And with a few exceptions, I think it does that very, very well. I'd highly encourage everyone to go and play it when the game launches for you. It incorporates the capturing of flags from Conquest and the constant push forward of the Rush game mode. And it kind of feels like it's killing off the Rush game mode, really. I don't really see much point of playing it when you could be in this multi-map assault pushing forward across massive maps. For me, it's just a better experience now. The only complaint I have about the Operations game mode so far is when behemoths are granted to the attacking and defending teams. After you lose your first battalion as an attacker, you're immediately given a behemoth, after only one of 3 possible failures. For me, that's just too soon. The behemoths are so powerful, and they should only really be given to the attackers on their last battalion, so it really is like a final push. And the defenders can get the behemoth as well. They'll get it on the first sector of the second map in the operation if the attacking team didn't lose any battalions in the first map. I'm not really sure what the logic is behind that decision, but I'm sure the community will give their own opinion soon as to whether they like that or not. That was Iron Walls, the Martini-Henry and the Hel Regal all coming to Battlefield 1. I really cannot wait for you guys to all start playing this game. I know a lot of you have been playing in the EA Access and Origin Access trials, but most of you will start to get access on the 18th if you pre-order the deluxe version, and then everyone else will come in on the 21st on the official launch day. I think you're going to really love this game. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think. I'll be down there reading and replying to as many as I can. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.